And good afternoon, it's Jason Mann with Jim Check, Kelowna Now News Headlines. And topping the news this afternoon, a Colona RMT now prohibited from treating any patients who identify as female.
Okay, additional limitations have been imposed on a Colona RMT after another complaint was made against him. According to the College of Massage Therapists of British Columbia, the new complaint was received October 17th, less than a week after the initial limitations were imposed on Adam Lariviere. The female patient told the college that Lariviere failed to maintain professional boundaries and consent standards and engaged in sexual misconduct. What's the matter with people? The college was already keeping a close eye on him after placing limitations on his practice in an October 12th order, which came after a similar complaint from a female patient. At the time, he was told to provide the college with a calendar and patient information by 6 p.m. every Friday and was subject to random on-site audits as a practice. And in response to the second allegations against him, which are unproven at this time, the college issued a follow-up order against the RMT on December 4th. The order, which places the previous order from October 12th, states that Lariviere is prohibited from treating patients who identify as female, and he must post a college-approved notice on the prohibition on the treatment of female patients in his workplace. He was listed at working at the Lighthouse Health and Chiropractic Clinic in Kelowna, but he no longer appears on their team page.
And an Alberta offender was arrested after being found living in Kelowna illegally.
Male suspect, wanted on 24 warrants out of Alberta, was recently arrested in Kelowna on Wednesday, December 6th. Mounties responded to a house on Royal View Drive after receiving several reports of people living in the home illegally. Police said the reason officers attended the house are still being convoluted, but the house was not vacant and it was not a squatter situation. During the search of the property, officers removed 2 people from the house and believed that the third person was hiding in there somewhere inside. So the officers believed the individual was hiding, and they got warrants out of the Alberta, BC, and history of violent offenses. Despite several attempts to get the person out on their own, officers eventually moved in and began searching for the suspect. They found him hiding under insulation in the attic. That's quite the hiding place. Eh? Good on the cops for finding him there. Wow. There he was promptly arrested. Also found and seized illegal firearm, a replica firearm, and an undisclosed amount of drugs. The 30-year-old male suspect found to be wanted on 24 warrants out of Edmonton, 24, which had been previously extended into BC. The man remains in custody and is scheduled to be escorted back to Alberta for court.
The City of West Kelowna staff want a trailer park rezoning sent to a public hearing. The
future of a West Kelowna mobile home park is once again going before City Council this week. Just during the Tuesday afternoon meeting, West Kelowna Council will be asked to give a first and second reading to the zoning amendment for 2355 Marshall Road, which is home to Shady Acres Mobile Home Park. There you go. So you can read a lot more on that story on kelownanow.com.
And a couple has been fined by the RDCO for living on their own property, and they're calling for a change.
So Peachland resident Ryan King said it's time to change outdated regulations that have seen him and his wife fined by the regional district for living on their own property. King said they've been living off the grid in their tiny home on the 12-acre property in Peachland for the past 7 years. But issues started to rise about 3 years ago. They were fined by the regional district, which cited a bylaw that says you can't park an RV of any kind on your property that doesn't have a permanent dwelling in place. Our lifestyle, he says, is sustainable and respectful of the environment and unobtrusive to our neighbors. And right now they're being fined and forced off the land. So he's fighting back. So again, you can go to Kelowna Now and read more on that. He's got a petition going. He has nearly 400 signatures in his first week of existence, with many chiming in with comments to support King's desire bylaw change. There's something that came down from the government today saying that there's no more single-family lots and you can build anything anywhere. So maybe that's a moot point. Who knows?
Well, yeah, and I was going to say, I mean, we're quite okay with tiny homes here and there and tents and everything else, but somebody buys their own land and they couldn't put, I mean, come on. I hope this person has some success.
Is
here
their
on this.
logic? Anyway.
Oh man,
It's
much better if he's in a tent down there, Jimmy.
Whoa.
Sorry, I break into song and weird voices when I feel dark humor upon me.
Wow, here's a story for you. Everybody's
Get ready.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little punchy after the
somebody's been in the Christmas cheer, I think.
Grocery store profits have more than doubled since the pandemic, says a report from the Center for Future Work.
We've been talking about this for a while. They keep blaming inflation. Yet, if you look at the financial statements that keep coming out with record profits and all that stuff, it's I would say a little bit of gouging going on. And here we go. Center of Future Work says profits in Canadian grocery sector will likely exceed $6 billion in 2023, setting a new record as they rise 8% from the last year. I think they better start putting some of those yellow stickers on those groceries and driving prices down, not doing what the government asked them to do to freeze the prices at the highs. Like, that's just ludicrous. New research by the center found that food retailers are now earning more than twice as much profit as they did pre-pandemic. Crazy, right? Forced all small businesses to close, left the big ones open. And what did the big ones do to us? Thank you for coming out, right?
I know a few food banks that would appreciate some donations.
Well, you just lower the prices. That's, like last week, executives from Loblaws, Walmart, Empire, presented before the committee. The major grocers have been under pressure from the government to enact plans to drop the prices. Like, let's work on dropping the prices, because it's crazy that they're making record profits and people can't afford to buy groceries.
Yeah.
It's just ludicrous.
And icy roads are blamed for a fatal multi-vehicle crash on Highway 33 on Sunday night.
Yeah, this fatal crash happened near the small city of Greenwood on Sunday night. 2 vehicles were involved in the Highway 3 collision early Sunday evening, and the police say the icy roads were primarily to blame. A Chevy Tracker lost control on the slippery road and crossed over the center line into the path of an oncoming Subaru out back. Both occupants of the Chevrolet were transported to the hospital, with the driver suffering non-life-threatening injuries. However, the passenger of a 62-year-old woman from Grand Forks was seriously injured in the collision, succumbed to her injuries in the hospital a few hours later. The occupants of the Subaru were not seriously injured in the crash. Road conditions were identified as a contributing factor.
And the RCMP engaged in harassment and intimidation during pipeline blockades, says Amnesty International.
Yeah, so a report by Amnesty International said police in BC conducted arbitrary arrests and aggressive surveillance, harassment, intimidation of First Nations protesting, blocking that pipeline project. The 94-page report documents protests linked to a 78-kilometer segment of the Coastal GasLine liquefied natural gas pipeline. Says the RCMP violated protesters' rights to free speech and peaceful assembly. There you go.
And police say a person took a loaded gun into the Ibrahim Ali murder trial.
A lawyer for Ibrahim in his first-degree murder trial said police told him a person close to the proceedings brought a handgun into the Vancouver courtroom on Friday with intent to kill. Kevin McCullough said in an interview with Canadian Press that police told him the Glock firearm was loaded. He said he and his wife were called to the Victoria Police Department on Sunday, where officers informed him of the incident. McCullough said he then told his co-counsel, "I was fearful for my safety, the safety of my co-counsel, Mr. Ben Linsky, and the safety of Mr. Ali at all court appearances." The trial had concluded on Friday with BC Supreme Court convicting Ali of killing the 13-year-old girl in Burnaby Park 2017. The girl's name cannot be reported due to the publication ban. McCullough said on Monday that he intends to file a notice of appeal on Ali's conviction. Sad. Like all this is in. It's a long story, but you're welcome to go and read this. It's because McCullough told the jury the girl was not an innocent child, as the Crown had portrayed during the trial, and that she was a teenager, and that it was outlandish to suggest that she may have found Ali attractive. I as a father of girls and yourself.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay.
Well, in sports, the Warriors extend their win streak to 7 after a pair of weekend triumphs.
There you go. The West Kelowna Warriors had no trouble finding the back of the net as they hosted the Trail Smoke Eaters and the Vernon Vipers. There you go. And then we had a couple of teams in. We had the girls volleyball team in and the boys volleyball team in from KSS, both provincial champions
Way to
in
go,
the
Owls.
quad 4. There's a picture with Kent and Corbin that did the interview with the girls. I think that was the grade 12 graduating girls. 6 of the girls came in, and then 3 of the boys came in from the team. I think the team consists of about 14 people or something like that. Great interviews. You can go to colonanow.com and you can watch both of them. They're on the live stream. We have clips? You want to run a clip? Sure, let's see.
And I think she gave us all a new look on volleyball, and she helped us mature to like the next level as players.
And like seeing how like passionate she was for the game just like kept like the fire in us to keep pushing and growing.
I know we spoke to the members of the women's team. There were a lot of tears. Were there any? Come on, did anyone tear up a little?
Yeah, I think I fully cried, but didn't show it on camera at least, so that's good.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of emotions. Like after that win, it was a pretty emotional tournament for us, and getting the win was super cool. But obviously, with the tears, there was also a lot of like cheering and a lot of happiness. So it was a good win.
There you go. A couple of good interviews there.
Good kids.
13 Days of Christmas.
All right. We are on Spirit Ridge. You can enter to win the prize, a weekend getaway, a couple nights at Spirit Ridge down in Osoyoos, the Hyatt there.
How many days have we done so far now? What day are we on?
We're on day 4.
Day 4. So you can go online and you can find all the days of Christmas and enter for each one. But you must be a newsletter subscriber to win. So we'll check if you get drawn. We'll check and see if you're a newsletter subscriber.
And there's 3 days, so you can enter. So today, Spirit Ridge.
We're going to announce a winner tomorrow for the first one then? Tomorrow?
Yes.
There you go. We're going to start naming winners here starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
And what's the Spirit Ridge today? Spirit Ridge is...
At the Hyatt in Osoyoos.
In the Suez, nice.
Yeah. So it's a couple nights stay at Spirit Ridge down in Osoyoos. Beautiful hotel, as you know. And it's always nice to get away to Osoyoos, whether it's winter or summer or spring. It's just they
got some amazing fireworks down there.
Totally.
Yeah, like the best fireworks.
Yeah. So that's the prize for today, and that prize will be open for 3 days to enter to win.
So what are we gonna do about this grocery store thing?
Well, maybe we start writing letters. I don't know. What are we going to do, Jim?
I don't know. I mean, I think people should start saying that's enough, though, right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like silly.
Well, what happens is the carbon taxes cause the price of food to go up, and as the price of food has gone up, the margins on the food that the stores are earning hasn't changed. The same margin is in place, but the price has gone up, so their profits have gone up. I'm guessing that's what's happened, right? Does that make sense?
I'm not sure if I'm following your logic or not, but I think they've increased the prices of the food because they thought that there would be supply chain constraints, and they just have not reduced them. I think that's more to the tune. Like they moved the prices up to account for possible increases in pricing that never really happened, and they're reaping the rewards of that because people are accepting it. You know, they're accepting it, so they're buying it. You know, like if cheese went up this much, they're just buying it, right?
And there's a certain amount of vulnerability at a moment when you're hearing about rising prices and cost increases.
What needs to happen is one grocer, one grocer needs to really just start bringing prices down, and competition will bring the rest of it down, right? But you know, like, again, when the federal government said that the grocery stores need to get together and stabilize prices together, that's what they get in trouble for, is when they collude, right? When the competition isn't there. Again, Costco has some great deals still on food. You can still buy a chicken there for a cooked chicken for $7.99. Costco has done some decent pricing there, but
whatever you can do to support local farmers.
And I know it's tough for a lot of people to get into Costco because you need a membership and all that stuff. Plus, it's busy, crazy busy too, and I think it's even busier now because I think people are going there because to save more money, even, right? So, anyway, we'll leave you with that today.
Some thoughts.
And look forward to speaking again at 9 a.m. and Jason will be. He's taking some meds for his hip. He's fallen down, and
things.
he'll
I'm
be
already.
fine
I'm
tomorrow,
already
though.
feeling better. I'm already feeling better.
There you go. All right. Have a great night.